All right. Welcome, everybody. How are we all doing? Hope everybody's feeling great. Hope everybody's feeling lonely. Welcome to another lonely Friday night. Welcome to Sam Roberts Now. Hope everybody is just getting ready to crush another weekend. You know what I mean? Just looking at the weekend ahead of you and going, man, I am going to destroy this thing. Or maybe you just sit there by yourself lonely. Either way, that's just a different way to crush it. You know what I'm saying? You can crush on your own terms. That's a message that we always try to deliver here on Sam Roberts Now. And a man who is certainly crushing, but only by his own terms. Ladies and gentlemen, Hot Dog. Hot Dog is here.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay, so there's multiple ways to crush it this weekend. I can just lay in bed all day in
Well,
my sorrows and crush it.
You're not getting through the weekend without napping. Am I right?
I like a good nap.
You like a good nap. And guess what? Sometimes, if you can go to bed at night and think to yourself, remember earlier today, that nap that I had? That was a killer nap. If you can get that going, I say more power to you. You crushed it, bro. You crushed it.
It's the best post-activity. You had a good time. You're running around town. Time for a nap.
And sometimes you go like this. Sometimes you go like this. Sometimes you go, oh man, I didn't need to do all that today, but at least it led to that great nap.
Yeah.
Right? And you go, it was worth it. It was worth it. It was dumb. I went out with the wrong people. I drove too far away. If I was going to go to lunch, I could have gone by myself. I didn't need to spend 2 hours trying to get to some dopey restaurant to hang out with some dopey people. But at least I got that killer nap when I got home.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to crush it then.
Right. That's all. You can lay your head down on that pillow and think to yourself, whatever activity I did, I have a rich sense of accomplishment. You crushed it, dude.
Yeah.
You know?
Thanks,
And you know, and by the way, you never have to answer to anybody. Don't let anybody take away that rich, full sense of accomplishment. Other people won't see it. You do. You were like, I was trying to work on my net. You know, I interviewed, and it'll go up on the channel soon. I interviewed the artist, Rain Maida. He's the lead singer for Our Lady Peace. And I said, you know, Our Lady Peace, this band has been around for, 20 years. It's been around forever at this point. He's actively touring, and he made the mistake of switching his vocal styles up multiple times. So he's known for his falsetto, but he's also known for not using his falsetto. So he's got to keep that voice in check all the time. He's got to stay in shape. I said, what's the secret? How do you do that? How do you maintain? You can't phone it in. He said, I cannot perform. I must have 8 hours of sleep. Sleep is the secret. And I go, I mean, somebody who's in your position, how can you guarantee that you're going to get a full 8 hours of sleep a night? He goes, I can't. I didn't say 8 straight hours. You know what Rain Maida does?
Does he take naps?
Actively, and he does them in a professional manner. He knows exactly how much sleep he got the night before. And he's like, there has to be, like, let's say he got 5 hours of sleep after a show, and then he had to go catch a plane. He's not going on stage unless he's gotten the next 3 hours of sleep. He's not doing it. Like, there's going to be 3 hours built in. It could be a 1.5 hour set of naps, to an hour and a half here, an hour and a half there. Could be a 3 hour section. Probably could be 3 1 hours. But he's getting those 3 hours because he's leaving here with something.
I say the same thing. I take my naps during my work shift. I take my naps when I'm on the subway, you know?
Yeah.
Whenever I can squeeze it in.
You got to tell your boss that too. You got to say, look, my priorities changed over the pandemic, okay? I don't mind. If you don't want to work from home, we don't have to work from home. But the idea of you getting upset seeing me sleeping at my desk, that's not going to happen, okay?
Ridiculous.
I'm sleeping at my desk. Unless you can let me go home and have my naps. It's up to you.
Either way is fine.
Either way is fine. I'm a reasonable guy. Either way is fine. Well, welcome to the show, everybody. Of course, we got a lot to talk about. If you want to super chat in, don't forget, every super chat here on Sam Roberts Now will be acknowledged. Of course, best wishes to everyone out there dealing with everything that Hurricane Ian has done.
God damn it, Ian.
Goddamn Hurricane Ian Fidance has just been destroying the South. Florida, I think it's starting to move into different states now, but it's really
Oh, he's touring.
It's done. Yeah, he's touring. It's done a number on some people, and I hope nobody watching has lost anybody or everything that was broken is replaceable. I hope everybody's doing okay, right? I hope everybody listened. You know, not everybody leaves. Some people, they say evacuate, 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 and they go like this. I'm not getting vaccinated. I'm not evacuating. So you could tell your story walking. It's like, okay, all right, then don't. I would recommend.
That's why you need the Fox News guy to keep reminding people you will die and your children will too.
I forgot. Did they do that for Ian? Because they did that for another one. Unless you leave, you will die. Well, I mean, you know, the news people are out. I've been tracking it through the various social media videos, as you know.
Storm
I tend
Tracker,
to.
Sam Roberts.
Well, I like to get my information through memes and short clips, little Twitter videos, twit vids. I like to get my information through. And you know, there was Quibbies. I like to get. I was gonna host the Quibi News before it went out of business. It was just like, it's like news, but it's done in a quick bite. So tell me if you think it's a good
digestible.
Well, this lady, I guess she was there for NBC too. You can see she even hashtagged it Hurricane Ian, just in case it got lost in the shuffle. She wanted to make sure that everybody saw it. I guess this was like a how-to. She put a rubber on her microphone. Wanted to tell everybody about it.
A lot of people are asking, what is on my microphone? It is what you think it is. It's a condom. It helps protect the gear. We can't get these mics wet. There's a lot of wind. There's a lot of rain. So we got to do what we got to do, and that is put a condom on the microphone.
Oh.
I mean, I feel like there are bigger, more pressing issues. If your beat is reporting on the weather, I'd like to take a break from hurricane coverage to let you know there's a condom with a reservoir tip on my microphone. See right up there, you pinch it before you roll it on. Can we have a demonstration of how you might get a condom on a microphone?
Somebody's struggling.
Yeah, I would have thought in 2022, with all the gear that I have just in here alone on the Not Sam budget, I would have thought that news companies have figured out how to report on the weather without putting condoms on their microphones. But I'm not in that field. I'm not in that field of work. So maybe that is the best they can do.
Do you think a condom would fit your microphone?
The ones that I have to use?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I would hope so. I have to stretch it out. But, you know, I always, down here in the Not Sam studio, we go raw dog. Every single day. No.
Big mics, big condoms.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, you know, it's a little like, I don't know why we had to go online and announce to the world that we were putting condoms on microphones. I feel like, you know, oh, good, the news report is going to tell. I can't believe how bad this storm is. A condom? What? Okay.
Kind of this. It's a big distraction.
Yeah.
It's a huge distraction.
Do you think she carries them? And she's like, this is in case it rains.
Like, that was probably the cameraman.
Our cameraman. Here's how it went down. She's going through her cameraman's gear bag. Why do you have condoms? He's like, well,
it's just them. It's just them two. It's the only the two
right.
of them who sent out on assignment.
Like, of course, it's a hurricane. They're only going to send a couple of people. And she's like, why would you bring these condoms? And he's like, for the rain. She's like, what do you mean for? Can't get the mics wet, huh? Yeah, you never did that before. Yeah, of course. Every reporter puts condoms on a microphone. She's like, I'm going to post a video on social media about it. He's like, all right. Okay.
Just let them know that these are magnums. I carry magnums.
Yeah, they're magnums. The big mics. The big mics. Yeah, just go ahead, post that on social media. Let everybody know it's super normal and not a weird thing for a cameraman to have. Her boss is like, hey, why'd you what was that video all about? She's like, no, because he has the condoms.
Carries
on.
condoms around whenever we go out.
Everybody knows. Everybody knows except her. Can you imagine?
Should do that.
Why don't they just make house-sized condoms? And that way, if a hurricane comes, you can put a giant condom around your house. What about those tents that they cooked meth under? You know, the extermination tents from Breaking Bad.
Mm-hmm.
If they made those out of
just be condoms.
Yeah, just make it out of latex. Just get a house condom, and go. I don't think you guys should have anything to worry about after this.
Well, what about umbrellas? We don't need them anymore.
No,
just get human-sized condoms.
Well, they're tough to breathe through. Is the only thing. Condom latex.
Well, you make a little hole in the mouth.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah. They say that condoms aren't as effective when you start poking holes in them, but I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, here's what happened, right? So this lady goes on the news, and she's like, hey, look at my phallic-shaped microphone. I rolled a condom on it. Please, no innuendo. Please, keep it classy. And then Jim Cantor, or whatever his name is at CNN, noticed that there was somebody else out there getting all the attention. There was another weather person getting all the attention. So he was like, fuck it, I'm going outside. I'm going outside. I want to show everybody what it looks like. We outside now. Yeah, can you believe that 2 years ago, it was like under no situation should you guys be outside. And now it's like, there's a hurricane. I want to show people what it looks like outside. I'm still impressed by this stuff. I mean, look, people go, why do newsmen feel the need to do this? I'm going to tell you right now. If I'm flipping through channels and I see a newsman outside in a hurricane, I'm watching. If I see a video on the internet and it's a newsman outside in a hurricane, I'm clicking. I want to see people outside in hurricanes. It's what I want to do.
It reminds me of Nope, where they're just like putting themselves on the line to get that
because they want the
viral video.
They want the click. Yeah, the dumb TMZ guy just rolling through. Yeah, so you mean you're starting to get the deeper meaning behind that movie that you said didn't have a deeper meaning?
You cleared it up for me. I got you. I got what you're putting down.
Yeah, well, you know what, hot dog? I am the table.
Huh?
What?
That was so stupid.
He's the head of the table, though. Here's do you see this weatherman outside in the hurricane?
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
I'm just a legend. Can't even hear what he's saying. Getting blown all over the place.
I want to get blown all over.
Yeah, you do. Well, this guy deserves it. Oh, my God. There's just trees. It's like there's somebody off mic. Like, right off camera. And then the news got back in the studio. Jim, you all right? Like, no.
You good, bro?
God is throwing trees at me as I try to tell you it's very windy outside. This is a bad idea. I should never have done this.
I might get picked up and just thrown around and die.
Unless it was a hoax. Unless there really was somebody outside just chucking trees at him. We got to make
Hollywood magic.
Well, yeah, it could have been a false flag operation. That they were throwing trees at him as he went.
Oh, that'd be great if you got the candid shot of someone else recording them doing that.
It's like that newscaster that was riding a canoe.
Ankle deep.
Yeah, riding a canoe in the floodwaters, and then they ride past somebody who's just standing in them ankle deep. That's the only thing better than a newscaster outside during a weather emergency. Is a newscaster making it seem like they're outside in a weather emergency when it's clearly very safe. They just wanted the clout. They're clout chasers. They're not storm chasers. They're clout chasers.
That's a good one.
But, they got to do this because the folks out here now, as much room as there is for content creation, the folks out here are going to do it themselves. Like, otherwise, if the weatherman's like, I'm not going outside, it's too dangerous. And then people go, okay, well, I just click and watch this guy. Look at this guy. He's tubing in a parking lot. Look at him. He's having a great time with himself. See, look, he's spinning and everything. He's tubing across the parking lot. This guy is smiling knee deep.
Yeah, it's a great time.
I mean, it's not the best example. That strikes me. I feel like, hot dog, you are one invite away from being one of these people. Like, you would watch this video. It just depends on what your friends are saying. If your friends said, how irresponsible is that? You'd go, very, very irresponsible. You should never do that. But if your friends were like, hey, you want to go do whirlies in the hurricane parking lot? You go, yep. Yes, I do.
I mean, it's not that. I mean, it's a little bit far off. But remember that hurricane that hit us last year?
Yeah.
It was like a summertime, and like some basements were flooded and all that.
Oh yeah. It was like that colossal. But it came out of nowhere too, right? It was that like rainstorm. Like people were trying to get to Jersey and had to get hotel rooms in the city and stuff. Yes.
One of the gals hit me up that night.
Oh yeah! Didn't you send somebody home in the middle of it?
Yeah. She said, "Do you want to help me move my couch into my new apartment?"
Mm-hmm.
And then we did that in the middle of a hurricane.
That's right. I remember you did that. You're an idiot. Yeah.
And then everyone was worried for my safety, and then they were worried for her safety when she went. She drove me to my place, and then she drove back home.
And then you just let her go home alone.
Yeah,
across multiple boroughs.
And maybe like 2 drinks in.
Oh, she was tipsy too. Oh, come on, hot dog. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't be.
Grown people are going to do grown people stuff.
People are going to make you're a libertarian. I forgot. People are going to make their own decisions, right?
Yeah. Dropped me off. I said, you stay safe.
Yeah, exactly. Are you saying you're offering to give me a ride home? Well, I will accept it. I will not take responsibility for this offer, but I will accept the offer.
So I don't think it's that far off that I would do something like that. Sure. If the invite was tempting enough.
Whirlies in the parking lot?
I'd be like, who gonna be there?
Okay, how about this guy? This guy, speaking truth to power, realizing that Hurricane Ira is or Ira, what's his name? Hurricane Ian is the perfect time for a political statement. Here he is. And it sounds like they're in the background playing Folsom Prison Blues by Johnny Cash with their big "fuck Biden" flag, as
maybe
if
because the storm is coming, as in Q.
Maybe.
So they wanted to use this as a good stage to send their message out.
Unless, do you think that they're holding Biden responsible for the storm?
I mean, I want to know, where was Biden and before, when we knew the storm was happening, and why didn't he just nuke it?
That's a good question. That's a great question. Actually, I asked Biden, I said, why did this storm even happen? You know what he said? Putin. I was like, oh, okay. All right. That's good to know. Putin did it.
That's all I need.
I had no idea, but I'll take your word for it. By the way,
Putin was swirling the water.
He was. Shout outs to Putin, by the way. He brought gas prices down. Gas is starting to go down again. So
shout outs to Putin.
Shout outs to my guy. And then, I mean, this guy, I feel like he'd be a chill dude to hang with. He's not letting anything bother him. He's playing Rocky like a hurricane. Hurricane dabs is what it says. Taking some hurricane dabs, I mean, look. If you're going to have to go through Hurricane Ian, at least you could be chill,
If you're going to risk your life and stay in that path,
let's
give us some content.
Let's do bong rips, Where do you want to do them?
Hell
inside?
Yeah.
No, let's go outside. All right, good call.
Yeah.
Good call.
You got a good song to play?
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, and that's why people go. People go like this. Why do these newscasters have to go outside in the storm? Because there's people outside doing bong rips in the storm, okay? It's a competitive time. It's not a time when you could just sit there. New media is who are you going to get your weather from? A guy on CNN in a studio, or a dude doing bong rips in the middle of a hurricane? I'm going to trust the guy doing bong rips.
Yeah, he's going to let me know. I'll look at how badass that is, and I'll be like, okay.
Because he'll tell me what the real, like if it's really not that dangerous, he'll go, bro, it's all right out here.
It ain't
right?
that bad. Don't be a pussy.
And if he starts panicking, then I'm like, oh my God, it really is bad out there. We got to go.
I mean, next time that we have a hurricane come our way, Sam,
Yeah.
you gotta be the first man to do an outside hurricane podcast show.
I got to do, you think bong rips?
Oh, but I mean, if you want, but you got to bring the condom. I mean, you got to bring the condom out.
Okay.
Bring the microphone out. You got to set your table outside.
I mean, I'm going to need a lot of, should I do have to bring
My
all
God.
the camera? Because I'm used to, like, everybody's used to, you know, some camera angles here. We gotta have everything out there, right? Should we
Hold on.
Should we get all the condoms?
I got you, bro.
Okay, you're so cool, dude. That's a lot of
I got you,
condoms.
bro.
You're so
Hey,
cool.
look at all
man.
those- look at all those
man.
condoms, bro. I
Oh
got you,
my
man.
God, you must be getting action. Look, you're so
Nailing it.
You're so
Nailing it.
cool. You're so cool, dude.
They
Yeah,
fit too. They'll fit the cameras.
I'll bet. I'll bet they
Yeah.
will. My cameras are
I
not
know.
unusually skinny though.
I'm not unusually skinny. I'll have you know, sir.
Well, I didn't know. I'm sorry. I was way out of line there, and I apologize. There's a lot of conversation happening right now. I don't know if you've seen this. It's got to be the most viewed Netflix show since Squid Games.
Ah, yes.
Dahmer Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, which
Dom
just
and
goes
Dahmer.
it goes to prove, as long as you got Evan Peters' face up there, you do not need a catchy title for a television show. Dahmer Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story. Like,
That must have gone through some stages, right?
couldn't we couldn't have workshopped it a little bit? They're like, no, fuck it, it's Netflix. Who cares? Just put Evan Peters' face up there. People will click it. True crime serial killer murder cannibal. Oh, I'll check that out. Dahmer
Word.
Monster, the Jeffrey
movie.
Dahmer story. And then they go like this. This is more about the victims. Oh. Not that big yellow face or the guy whose name is mentioned twice in the title alone.
You sure it's not about sensationalizing another serial killer?
Dahmer Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story. It's about the neighbor mainly. Yeah, there's people, they've got a lot of opinions about this because Netflix is back on top. I guess this wasn't woke because people say when Netflix goes woke, they go broke. But they didn't go woke, they went Dahmer, and they got 196.2 million hours
God damn.
viewed in 5 days. The first 5 days of Dahmer Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story.
Yeah, please tell me the whole name because there's a lot of them.
Dahmer Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story.
Okay.
Yeah, 100, almost 200 million views in 5 days. We were literally 4 episodes away from 200 million views, 200 million hours viewed in 5 days. Have you seen it?
I have my reservations about watching it.
Okay,
Yeah.
now is the reason that you have your reservations watching it because you're waiting until your friends tell you whether it's cool to watch it or cool to not watch it?
No, I'm my own man.
Mhm.
Everyone's watching House of the Dragon. I'm not watching House of the Dragon.
Whoa, you're
Everyone's
so
telling me about Dahmer.
rebellious.
What is that? What is it again? Dahmer.
It's called Dahmer Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story.
Everyone's telling me to watch Dahmer Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, and I'm like, I don't know. I
Gotcha.
feel like there's already enough sensationalizing here. Of serial
Ooh,
killers.
you're taking a moral stance against it. Is it because
Yeah.
you are featured prominently in episode 1?
Was it a gay black man?
He happened to be gay. And he was a man of color. But all of Dahmer's victims
Ever.
were. I mean, well, not all of them, most of them. The vast majority, yes, were gentlemen of color. But yeah, I mean,
You think I would have taken it to heart, or I would have it would have hurt me a little bit more watching this?
because you knew if you walked into a bar with Dahmer, you were not. Well, I mean, you were walking out, but you were going to his place, and that would be it. And let me tell, Dahmer's neighbor would have absolutely been calling police, and they would have been ignoring her reports of hot dog entering Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment. That's what
I mean,
it should be called. It should be called Dahmer, the story of the police ignoring Jeffrey Dahmer's neighbor. Because she kept saying, "Excuse me, 911, there appears to be a man killing people in my building." Based on the sounds and the scent and the amount of people that walk into his apartment but don't walk out, there appears to be murders repeatedly happening in the apartment above me. Could you please come? I've asked you many times. And they're like, yeah, whatever. And she's like, are you going to come? They're like, honestly, no. No.
Do you remember that episode of South Park where there was a serial killer on the loose?
Mm-hmm.
And the police were too stupid to figure it out because they were like, the killer chops off left hands, but the killer only has right hands all over it. So it can't be him.
Can't be him. No, I mean, on this one, it wasn't even like the cops were like, I don't think there's much to investigate here. They literally, I mean, dude, because that's okay. So that, first of all, as I've said before, I'm with you in the sense that there is a lot of serial killer content, of serial killer content. It's like, it's comical at this point. It's like, I mean, it's a parody at this point. It's all serial killer content.
And they're all played by good-looking actors.
Well, Evan Peters is bae. And I will tell you, Ryan Murphy has to be looked into because first, when he did American Horror Story 1985, the actor that played Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, was just like the cutest little guy you've ever seen. And I can't tell you how many Richard Ramirez stan accounts started to pop up. And I will tell you that there is an issue. But look, okay, yes. There is an issue that people are standing Jeffrey Dahmer. Yeah, yes. Is that not... Can I tell you that people are not standing Jeffrey Dahmer? No, I can't tell you that. But can you... Like, is that who we're producing content for? Can we... If we're sitting here going, look, we're going to show how horrific this guy was. We're going to show what the cops didn't do. We're going to show the racial implications. We're going to show the LGBTQ implications and the fact that, like, you know, that it was happening, that it was being covered up by just going like, no, we're just in a gay relationships. Cops were like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it sounds pretty normal to me. Like, the fact that there were homophobic undertones to the whole thing as well. We're going to show all of it. And the people will ignore it. And stand Jeffrey Dahmer, yeah, that'll happen. But you can't just create. You can't stop.
With Ted Bundy.
I know.
They had Zac Efron play Ted Bundy.
The casting choices are interesting, and Evan Peters already has stands. We already know Evan Peters is like one of the hottest dudes ever, dude. Like, who's hotter than Evan Peters? Can you name 10 people to me right now? If I held a gun to your head, could you tell me 15 people that are hotter than Evan Peters?
Logan Paul.
That's one, dude. And he looks like Evan Peters. Right? He's like the douchey version of Evan Peters. Evan Peters is just the artsy version of Logan Paul. So it's you can't, can you? You can't.
I'm struggling.
So yeah, I get it. And let me tell you something. Jeffrey Dahmer, not a hottie. Like, if you look up photos of Jeffrey Dahmer, it's not surprising that he's from Wisconsin. God bless the people from Wisconsin. I'm not saying that Milwaukee is full of ugly people. I love the Milwaukee people. But what I am saying is there's a difference. Like, a Milwaukee 10 is probably like an LA 4, right? Can we say that at least?
LA 4, Miami 2.
Right. So you can only imagine the Milwaukee scale.
Yeah, you hear all about this, how they were able to get people, or at least for like Ted Bundy, because he was so good looking and charming. And then you look at an actual photo of him.
Ted Bundy was like handsome when compared to like other psychos. Like, Ted Bundy was much more handsome than like John Wayne Gacy, for instance.
Yeah, but then they have Zac Efron play him. And Zac Efron is hotter than most people.
Zac Efron is extremely hot. There's no getting around that. Like, that's his whole thing. Yeah, no, you're right. Evan Peters, yeah, you're begging for people. You know people are going to stand Jeffrey Dahmer if you're putting this out. 100%.
I wouldn't got murdered by Jeffrey Dahmer.
Right.
Evan Peters?
Probably.
Maybe.
Not only maybe, probably, and definitely, I'll say. Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. And yeah, but if you watch the show, I understand the advertising of the show and the pushing it forward. But then, I mean, you look at what everybody else does, right? When the show comes out, so they spend a lot of time. They do. It's a 10-episode series on Netflix. And I think that we all know the basics of the Dahmer case. Everybody knows he ate people. But I don't know how many people are so well versed on what was going on around the Dahmer case. You know, they do a very good job of humanizing the victims. They spend full episodes kind of telling the backstory of some of the victims so that, you know, I mean, goddamn, there's this deaf kid that when Jeffrey Dahmer starts eating him, you really feel bad because you met his whole family. You know, I met that kid's family. Now this guy's eating him? This asshole. This fuck. That's what I said. Oh, this fuck. You know,
jerk.
Yeah, he was. He came off as a jerk. Dahmer came off as a jerk on this show. I will say that, you know. And they got the dad from Stepdads to play Dahmer's dad. And I'm telling you right now, he's going to be typecast as just a guy who cannot be a suitable father. If you raise John C. Reilly and Jeffrey Dahmer, it's not right. You know, you're not good. You're not a good parent.
I mean, Reed Rothschild had I'm not going to read the whole super chat, but he made a good point. Or like, I don't think it was a good point, but he made a point saying that it was an agenda of the show and like they're pointing out how he was focused on gay and black people in the community, and it wasn't like that. I don't know how accurate it was, but that's the first thing I got off of just hearing from the show. So I don't think people were aware at all that he was going after.
I mean, first of all, yeah, he murdered. Like he absolutely was predatory over men of color. Like I don't know if you can.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can't get around that. And you could say, and not only, like, dude, not only did the cops not bust him, he's literally had gone to court, and they were just like, you know what, you can get out. I'm not gonna ruin your life over this. And when he got out of court and got out of, you know, I'm not gonna. When he got light sentences, he would leave and eat people. That's what he would do.
Goddamn bail reform,
dude. And they show it in one of the episodes. There was one scene because that's what he did. He liked to drug people. He would pick people up. He got kicked out of a bathhouse because he kept leaving unconscious gay men in this bathhouse. And the guy who runs the bathhouse was like, you can't come here anymore because you keep leaving unconscious gay men in the bathhouse. I know what you're doing. Most of them were, they were alive because he didn't have a kitchen in the bathhouse. They were alive. But then he was like, okay, I'm going to get a place of my own. And that's when things went awry. Should have stuck to the bathhouses, honestly. But, I mean, they showed this. They featured it very prominently in one of the episodes that, like, there was he had, like, a kid, like a teenager that he had drugged and had somehow escaped from the apartment. And he got out onto the street, butt-ass naked, trying to flag somebody down, but he was like, you know, he's all drugged up.
Drugged up?
Yeah.
What was he drugging them with?
I don't know. He learned about a drug in the army. What are you doing, dude?
What?
That's not what this show's about. You shouldn't be. This isn't a how-to.
I was just listening.
No, that's not.
Notes.
No, come on.
I was just taking notes, dude.
Come on, that's not classy.
What was the drug?
That's not. I'm not telling you. You won't use the information right.
I'll know to avoid it in the future.
Yeah, right. That's not. But yes, this kid comes out, and he flags. The police are there. The police come, and they're like, "What's going on?" And then Jeffrey Dahmer comes out. The kid's like bleeding already. Jeffrey Dahmer comes out. He's like, "That's my boyfriend." And the cops are like, oh,
okay.
Oh, boyfriend, right. 2 dudes. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because that was the era, too. That was the not that there's anything wrong with that era, where you would just say blatantly homophobic stuff and then go, not that there's anything wrong with that. And everything was fine. Everybody's like, oh, okay. All right, you're pretty woke. But yeah, and Jeffrey Dahmer was like, that's my boyfriend. It's all good. Don't even worry about it. Lovers quarrel. But he tripped and fell. That's why he's bleeding. And the neighbor was like, no, like that. No, this is bad.
He's eating them.
Yeah.
He's lying.
Like it smells like rotting corpses. I think from the rotting corpses. And the
This
cops
just
are
sucks,
like,
dude.
cops are like this. This is a lover's quarrel. You got him, Jeffrey? And Jeffrey Dahmer's like, don't worry, officer, I got him. The officer's like, okay, back up to the apartment, you two.
Yeah.
And this drugged out kid is like,
ain't that neighbor a fucking homophobe, huh?
yeah. Yeah, don't listen to this homophobe. You two, have a good night. Don't do anything I wouldn't. And then Jeffrey Dahmer's like, don't worry, I won't, assuming you're planning on eating this person. He killed him.
Is that sexual?
He murdered the kid after the cops let him back in the apartment. They did a terrible job, the police in Milwaukee.
That's awful.
It's
That's
bad.
Really bad.
It's bad. So they do a good job. Some of the victims' families were coming forward and they were going like, not that anybody ever asked us if we were okay with this, but this is actually very, very difficult for us. And they said, Netflix never even asked if we were okay with it. Now, look.
That's what I read, and I had an issue with it.
Well, I think that the victim's family should get some cash out of the deal. Okay? I don't think, a news story is a news story is a news story. It is what it is. Like, they did an OJ show. They didn't ask the Goldmans. They did a Versace show. They didn't ask the Versaces. I do think that people should be able to get paid for that stuff and go like, look, I know this is going to be tough for you. I know this just won't go away. We're making money. Somebody's making a lot of money off this. So I think that they should be cut in.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't think that.
Not even like you don't, because it's a news story, like you said. You don't ask for permission, obviously, because all it takes is one family member to say no, and then you're screwed. So you don't ask for permission, but you
send them a check.
Reach out.
You send them a check.
Send them a check, and you reach out and you let them know this is what we're doing.
Netflix is expensive. It's expensive. Yeah. You could send some of that money.
Because it's hard. Because I saw one scene on Twitter where it's like some black woman was like breaking down, and she was like reaching, like she was trying to attack Jeffrey.
Who was that?
Court.
Oh yeah. That's it. I mean, and that happened as a victim's mom.
Yeah, and then there's like they did a side-by-side of the real thing and the actress thing. And then it was like, this is my cousin. She was never contacted about by Netflix about this. And this was extremely traumatizing to have it brought up again and just created by, just seeing another actress just playing her emotions. And it's like, well, come on. Yeah. You got to give him something.
Peel him off a couple of bills.
Peel
them off a couple of bills, huh? A couple of these subscriber dollars. I don't mind my Netflix subscriber dollars going to the victims of Jeffrey Dahmer. If I'm going to sit here and watch this show, it doesn't bother me.
For your pain and suffering.
But then some people were like, because they did try to get into Dahmer's head a little bit, and they show. But this is true. Is the thing? Like, they did show that Dahmer had like abandonment issues, right? So like he didn't want people to leave. And that's why so Dahmer was trying to create sex zombies is what he was trying to do. That's what he wanted.
Sounds cool.
Well,
explain. Sell me on it, Sam.
So Dahmer he wanted control of people, and he didn't want them to leave. But he was also like a weird jerk. So, of course you want to leave. He sucks. He sucked. Like, he was the type of guy that you'd be hanging out with, and you were like, I'm going. I got to go, right? But he's like, but I have abandonment issues. And I'm like, yeah, but more importantly,
cool, bro.
You suck, right? So I'm leaving. And he's like, yeah, you think. So, you thought so, right? So, like, he came from a family where the mom and dad are fighting all the time, right? They end up getting divorced. They think Jeffrey's a weirdo. The only hobby that Jeffrey got into as a kid was that he liked picking up roadkill, and he liked dissecting it. And
it's always animals.
It's always, dude. And his dad, instead of being like, this is textbook serial killer stuff, his dad goes, well, at least Jeffrey's interested in something, and he dissected roadkill with his son. He'd go like, the two of us will do this together, and it's like, I don't know,
That's not it, fam.
Like,
if you see your kids doing that, just
if my son came to me and he was like, I'm really into dissecting roadkill, I'm gonna be like, you like Pokemon cards? I can buy you some Pokemon cards.
You want a
Pokemon.
PS5?
Yeah,
Switch?
I'll give you
come
my
on.
PS5. I'll give you my whatever you want. Whatever you want. Should we see what, Carter Scherer's doing on his YouTube channel? You want to check out Carter Scherer for a while? Anything?
No, Dad. I just like torturing animals, breaking their ankles, seeing them
breaking
squirm.
small, because you can control them. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to see what toys Ryan's reviewing? Is that Ryan's toys review? Nothing?
Doesn't interest me, Father.
No, okay, you call me father. That's I wish you hadn't called me father. Yeah. Oh boy. You know what? I give up. I think I quit. I'm gonna go ahead and tap out now. You do you. Here's
And
5.
I will see you on the Netflix doc. And
Yeah.
20
I
years.
will see you on the flip side. Yeah, so and then he gets home, right? He gets home one day. He's like 17 or whatever. I don't know. 18. I don't know. He's a teenager. And his mom is packing his younger brother up in the car. And he's like, "Where you going, Mom? Where you going?" And she's like, "Your dad's fucking his girlfriend in a hotel room. I'm out of here," right? So she splits. Now, his dad was living with his girlfriend for 3 months. He thought that Jeffrey's mom was going to stay with him while he was chilling with the new lady.
Oh, he was abandoned by both.
But so Jeffrey Dahmer, he moved the weight bench into the living room, and he just started drinking beers and lifting weights, and he just lived in the house by himself. That's where he committed his first murder. He picked up a hitchhiker and, killed him. He killed him. He did. And then, went on from there. But he got to this weird place, right, where... And then, he got a job at a butcher shop because he was obsessed with killing animals and stuff. And he had to get a dress shirt for work. And he went into the dress suit store to look at their shirts. And he picked one out and he purchased it. And then he hid in the changing room until after closing because he had seen something that caught his fancy and he wanted to steal it from the store. You know what it was?
What?
A mannequin. He stole a mannequin from the store, and then he brought it home, and he slept with the mannequin. It was a male mannequin that he would sleep with, and he would caress it over the nipple area, and he would cup its groin. I saw it on the show. He cupped its groin,
You can never leave me.
Right, and that's what he said, right? And then he would, put his blanket over the mannequin, and he was living with his grandma, and he said, "Grandma, don't go in my room while I'm at work. My sheets are dirty." And she was like, "Oh, okay, that's not suspicious at all." So the minute he went to work, she went right into his room, threw out his mannequin. He was fucking furious that his grandma threw out his mannequin. He is screaming at her.
I kind of get that. Why would you just throw out someone's mannequin?
Wow, his grandma was really, you know what his grandma was worried about?
What?
That he might be gay.
That's a big worry.
You see, this is where we're at in 91 or even in the 70s, 80s. They're like, your son is a homosexual, cannibal, serial killer who preys upon minorities. And they were like, he's gay?
What do you mean? He's
No,
gay?
he couldn't be gay. He's all man, my son,
He's killing women.
So he would, but they explore that, the homophobic nature of the whole thing. But his thing was, he started reading anatomy books and stuff like that. He wasn't a smart guy, he got very bad grades because he's so stupid. But when he put his energy on something, when he put his focus into something, he really followed through.
That's a positive trait.
It's a positive trait, generally speaking.
Yeah.
But what he would do
He's
is,
not a quitter.
he'd drug people constantly. He loved drugging people. He got thrown out of the army, by the way. He was a failure. He's just a universal failure.
Well,
But
there's no gays in the army.
That wasn't even the issue. The issue was performance related. It wasn't gay related. It wasn't. But he would drill. He would take a power drill, and he would drill a hole in their head, into their brain. He would try to kind of lobotomize people, right? So that they would still be alive, but not able to do anything. That was his plan, so that they would just be stuck there with him. Except they would die because he would drill into their brains. And then he was stuck. So what would he do? Cut them up and eat them.
That way they can never leave him.
No. And then
Always with him.
by the time they caught him, I mean, legit, he had a 55-gallon drum in his bedroom that was full of like acid and melting body parts. You know, he was trying to melt down
the Walter White thing.
Yeah, but it's tougher in real life. Like everything works kind of really well on that show. Like Jeffrey Dahmer probably couldn't have pulled off the train heist as well as Walter White did. It stunk, you know? Like people would go into the apartment. They'd be like, "What's that smell?" He's like, "Don't worry, it won't bother you long."
I'll spray some Febreze.
Yeah, everything will be fine. They're like, "Isn't that just for fabrics?" He's like, "You could use it on anything." Yeah, they found a 55-gallon drum full of acid and body parts. They found genitals in the closet, severed genitals. He had some genitals in his closet, genitalia, and he had a head in his freezer. Like in the freezer, there was just a human head.
And what does everybody want?
Yeah. Now the issue is that like these were real human beings that existed. These are real people with relatives, and like, you know, they don't have members of their family anymore because their heads were in Jeffrey Dahmer's fridge. And I mean, I think that's where the hook comes in, you know. Well, so they do spend a lot of time on the show not just going over all the gory detail of what Dahmer did, but, you know, the neighbor gets a whole episode all about her. The deaf kid that you saw the mother going crazy in court, you know, getting angry in court, he gets a whole episode explaining his backstory. Like they really do spend a lot of time. There's a lot of time spent on the family and the beginnings of this and everything. So they do that. It's just, you know, Dahmer in big letters. I mean, I think if you're going to tell a story, you're going to tell a story. I'm seeing all these like news sites and everything, like Court TV's YouTube is like freshly uploading old courtroom footage of Jeffrey Dahmer. Like everybody's
trying to get those clicks.
100%. Everybody, like I saw like the person who broke the Dahmer story is like doing new interviews. Everybody's digging up all their old Dahmer footage. I think that's worse. Chasing.
You should too.
I don't have a Jeffrey Dahmer interview.
You don't have any footage or anything like that?
I'll look around. I've interviewed a lot of people. I might. I'm going to look around. I'll dig through some old hard drives.
Throw a social out there.
I think that's way worse, digging through your old stuff. Like, I don't even like finding old clips like wrestler interviews. Like when there's like news about Paul Heyman and they're
smart.
Like, I know, but I don't like doing it. It feels cheap. I couldn't imagine how I would feel if I was like, I've got some Dahmer footage. Like, it's dirty. It's filthy.
Okay.
And
well,
then
maybe not, maybe you don't filter through and see if you have Dahmer footage. Maybe you see that Dahmer's hot. People are typing in Dahmer. So maybe you just create a cute little social, like, like the Dahmer special or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like I have a
drug that Jeffrey Dahmer used. We're gonna make the cocktail.
Oh yeah. I could do that. Yeah. It's rich for content. I mean,
yeah.
I know there's some TikTokers that would get a big kick out of it. Dahmer Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story. There's this TikToker, you know, because now there's backlash. Of course, when people come out strongly, the other side has to come out too. And you know, there's people going like, "This is not a great show." But other people are like, this is the greatest. There should be more of this. This lady on TikTok says, when everyone is having a problem finishing the Jeffrey Dahmer series, but you finished it and wish it had more gore in it. I mean, it's like, I don't mind. Made up gore is fine. Like if you want, like you know, a movie like Terrifier, it's like the most gory, ridiculous movie you've ever seen. A woman gets split from the crotch to the head while she's hanging upside down. It's disgusting, but it's not real. It's not based on true events. If you're like, I'd love to see more of the true crimes, that's when it's like, okay, all right.
These are real people who got chopped up, got eaten up, real families that are still around. You know, it wasn't 50 years ago.
I love this story. This lady, she puts on her TikTok, raise your hand if you were part of the handful of people who were completely unbothered by the Dahmer series and is watching it again. That's That's what I mean.
Like fast rewatch.
I'm sitting there going, I don't think that this is unacceptable for broadcast. I think that this is fair to broadcast. You can give that little money to the family. You could do, but like, yeah, I mean, I think we can reanalyze stories that are as shocking as this. This isn't something you see every day. Mm-hmm. But to sit there and go like, nope, completely unbothered by this is like a level of sociopathy that I couldn't imagine. Like you can't. I mean, it's
exposing yourself.
It's a bothersome thing that happened. Like just the fact that there is a human that at any point in history was capable of committing such atrocities is bothersome on a level. The idea that you're like there are members of the family going like, I don't think this show should exist, and you're instead of going like, well, I see your point. I think it's okay that it exists, but I get why this weighs on you. Instead of saying something like that, you go, no, and I was completely unbothered by any of it. In fact, I've watched it 3 times. It's like, what are you arguing? What are you trying to prove about yourself? What is it that you're trying to prove right now? And then there was this one. This pretty gal right here. Hearing other people say they couldn't make it through one episode of Dahmer when I binged the whole show unfazed, then watched his trial and every interview of him that exists. Well, that's probably not alarming.
She would probably fucking marry him if he was still alive.
She probably fanficked it already.
Yeah.
I mean, unfazed. I mean, even in my description of it to you, Hot Dog, my ridiculous, stupid, absurd description. Are you unfazed by that? Or are you phased?
No.
You're fairly...
No, it's gruesome. It's awful. These are real people.
Bro, you are so phased right now. You are so phased.
Yeah, super phased.
It's wild.
And you know, Evan Peters and all these other actors, they probably have like people that go up to them and go like, oh my God, you were amazing. I loved you in Dahmer, Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story. You were amazing. That scene, it was beautiful. You're beautiful. Nah. And it's like,
I would hope that he goes like, I think you may have missed the point on that one. I appreciate the compliment, but when I starred as Jeffrey Dahmer in the television series Dahmer, Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, that wasn't the reaction that I was going for. Let me tell you something. You were so great as Jeffrey Dahmer, I never would have left you. Like, whoa.
That is absolutely happening.
Of course it's happening.
Yeah.
But it's like, you should have left him. Like, I don't care. He was as bad a person as could have existed. I would say Hitler would be the top of the scale, right? Hitler.
The goat.
Yeah.
You love we the ones.
You love Hitler?
I mean, on the scale of awful human beings.
Oh,
Hitler is the
number
Hitler
one.
Is the goat.
Yeah, well, goat is a problematic. I get where you're going.
Is he not the goat?
Well, I'm putting him on the top.
Worst people of all time.
I'm putting him on the top of that list, but just goat. It has such generally positive connotations to it that I could see. I get what you're saying, Hot Dog. I get it.
You disagree.
I get what you're saying. I'm worried that there are people that intellectually are not working on the same level as you that might not fully get what you mean by that.
All right, then. Well, Hitler, we the ones.
No, I don't. Nope. Nope. Can't go with that one. Hitler is not the bloodline of can't do it. But like Jeffrey Dahmer is pretty close to the Hitler scale. Like, you know what I mean? Like he doesn't get that far out of like if red ends with Hitler, Jeffrey Dahmer doesn't get to yellow. He stays red. He doesn't even get to orange.
It's all about opportunity. You know, Hitler did awful stuff with the opportunity he was granted to. He was given a whole country and a whole army.
Hitler was also an amazing speaker, Yeah.
And he wasn't a dick. Like,
No,
like,
he was a huge
person. I mean, like
Hot Dog. What do you say? Hitler was one of the biggest dicks that's ever existed. The biggest dick. Hitler was a total jerk.
I mean, as a person, someone you talk to in person, you have to be somewhat charismatic and personable to.
No, he just
lead.
He got people upset. Hot Dog.
Okay, all right.
He got people upset. He was very angry. He shouted all the time.
He did. Yeah. He did this. He banged.
I don't think you've done a lot of research on this guy.
What I am trying to say is that if Jeffrey Dahmer,
you didn't even know the racial implications of Jeffrey Dahmer. Now you're saying Hitler was. I think we went down a bad road for you.
If Jeffrey Dahmer had the same thing, opportunities that Hitler had, who knows how he would have ended up? He would have been eating people by the billions.
How could one person eat that many people?
You have an army and you feed them people.
He would have an army of cannibals.
I don't know. I don't just say.
All right.
Maybe I'm not explaining myself correctly. Hitler is bad.
For the record.
Yes.
Hot dog got lost in a cornfield and wasn't sure which direction he was pointed in anymore.
Let's get out of here.
Well, I will say this. Dahmer is not the only new show on Netflix. I don't know how many hours were spent watching this next new bit of programming that Netflix has added, but it's here. We watched the trailer together as a family, and now it's here. Rob Zombie's The Munsters has debuted. It's not a Netflix exclusive. It went straight to home video. So you can
Munsters.
pick, yes, the Munster.
Munsters story.
Munster, the Munster. Yeah, you can get Monster or Munster. Yes, The Munsters, a Rob Zombie film, came out on Blu-ray, and it's in Walmarts and Targets and everything, and it's also on Netflix, and it's streaming digitally. I watched it, Hot Dog. I did see the movie because I am as big a Rob Zombie fan as you'll possibly find. I've seen every movie. I've been to shows. I've got every album. I've got his autograph tattooed on my arm. I'm the biggest Rob Zombie fan. Okay, we've talked about this, and I watched the Munsters movie because people were shitting on the trailer. Did you know that people were not nice about the trailer?
On the trailer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. You were one of the people that was shitting on the trailer. So the Munsters is it's interesting. It's an original movie. It's not in black and white. The original TV show was in black and white, but this one is not in black and white. This one is in that sort of very, very hyper realistic color palette. Very, very bright. Very almost looks like it's poured off the pages of a cartoon. It looks like a Rob Zombie music video in a lot of ways. It moves like that. Lots of movement in the camera. Clocks in at about an hour and 55 minutes.
Oh, that's long.
Yep. It's a long one. Yeah. It's watched it in a couple parts. Watched it in sections. It's a couple of stories built into one. I don't know why you wouldn't just tell one of them, but it's a Herman Munster origin story. Herman Munster is the big guy. He looks like Frankenstein back there. Yeah. Herman Munster's origin story. It's also, we see Lily Munster and Grandpa Munster living together, It's also a love story. After the Herman Munster origin story, it then becomes a love story as we watch the relationship between Lily and Herman blossom into what it will be on the show. And then, after that, it becomes the Munsters go to Hollywood when Herman Munster pursues a career in entertainment in Hollywood. And talk about a fish out of water. While some may think that, I as a normal person find the Munsters so weird, when the Munsters go to Los Angeles, they find the people of Hollywood weird.
See? Oh, that's so silly.
Yeah. Now,
that's so silly.
The Munsters is not a traditional Rob Zombie film. A lot of Rob Zombie films have a lot of profanity, violent imagery. Sometimes they sprinkle in a little bit of nudity, but very, very adult themes. This one is it's a family comedy.
For the children?
It's for the children. I don't know that the children had an appetite for the Munsters. I don't know that many kids that are like, when's that next Munsters project?
Oh, kids have appetites for anything you put on the screen.
That's not true.
No?
Nope.
I don't have a kid, but I would assume so.
That's not true. No, infants. Like an infant, yes, but within a year or two, children are able to develop opinions and tastes. Yeah. Right.
That's interesting.
What age did you think children would start developing opinions and tastes?
Like 9.
9. So you think at 8 years old, whatever you put in front of young hot dog was going to be into?
I didn't have a choice. Maybe that's what I'm conflating,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get that. Okay, there's, we don't see some of the beloved characters. Of course, the children aren't there. Eddie Munster isn't there. None of the kids. Marilyn Munster. None of the kids are there.
That's for the cinematic universe.
Well, it's because it's an origin story, even though, Lily is clearly a well-grown adult. She's played by Sherry Moon Zombie. These are people who, they're older than me. Like they're fair. They're obviously old. Not, but older than you would expect for an origin story, right? As old, if not older, than the characters were when they were on the show The Munsters. There's an intentional campiness to it, right? You're gonna notice there's a campiness to it, and that's clearly intentional. Rob Zombie was going for that. I kind of found myself the whole time I was watching looking for violence. I was waiting for the other shoe to drop.
What?
I was thinking, what would make this movie great? If the whole first 45 to an hour was like this weird family comedy, like why are these choices being made? Why was this movie even made? And then all of a sudden it becomes a bloodbath. That would have been right up my alley.
You were expecting a big swerve.
I wanted it. I wanted a swerve. I was like, oh, this makes sense if there's a swerve coming. Look, for me, it's a fine. It's a fine movie. I feel like it's the type of movie that was made for people who go to the Walmart and they buy a DVD for a movie they haven't seen on a Friday for their family. Like, this movie was built, I don't want to say it. Rob Zombie is a god. This movie was probably built for a $9.99 bin type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever?
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
No. People make a lot of money doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
People make a lot of money. This is what was that box that you could rent movies from? Redbox? Is that what they were called?
Mm-hmm.
Redbox Deluxe. This is, this is the type of movie where you look at the cover, you go, here's what I think. Because I like a movie, like I dropped a review on the channel earlier this week for the movie Pearl. I went to see Pearl. I dropped my review for it. I loved it. Because I love a movie where I can see that the people involved with the movie had a reason for wanting it to be made. Whatever it was, like this is a story that they wanted told and they wanted out there. They wanted people to see it. And as I'm watching the Munsters, I was having trouble trying to figure out why would somebody make this, right? Movies are hard to make. It's hard to,
so much work.
Right. And to get approval on everything, it's like, why would somebody be like, yeah, we're going to do this? Like, what is this for? And I really was thinking about it. And I think that the purpose of this movie is for older people to see it in a store, like see the cover in a store and buy it to show to their kids, thinking that their kids will like it. And then they'll watch it and they'll go, I appreciate this. I appreciate what's happening here. I don't like it, but I appreciate what's happening. But I bet my kids like it. And then the kids are sitting there going, what is this? What are we watching?
Yeah, put on Adventure Time or whatever.
Yeah, is this still like? Yeah, I paused the movie. I couldn't believe how much time was left in it at one point. Like it was like, at one point there's like a musical duet between Herman and Lily Munster, and they're singing "I Got You, Babe," and I go, what family comedy is referencing Sonny and Cher? Like, how long ago was that? What kid is like, oh, this is a reference that I understand?
But they don't have to get it because they're being exposed to that for the first time. So it's for them, it's a new song.
It's not a song that would be popular in this day and age. It's not. I mean, it had and there was like a disco theme going on. There were all these references to the 70s, and it was almost like in the 90s, you could make references to the 70s, right? Because it was 20 years ago. But in 2022, if you want to make references to the 70s the way you would in the 90s, you would have to make references to the early 2000s. Like talking about Woodstock 99 in 2022 is similar to talking about the 70s in the 90s. In 2022, to talk about the 70s, that would be like dropping a family comedy in 94 and bringing up something from,
50s?
No, the 30s.
What? No way.
Think about it. 70s. Okay, let's say Sonny and Cher, let's call it 75. Okay? It was before that, but 75 even. Bringing up references from 75, 85, 95, 2005, 2015. We're almost at 2025, right? We're 20, right? So 50 years.
Wow.
74,
like
64, 54, 44, 34. It would be like bringing up the Roaring 20s.
Hey, I mean, look,
and not, not bringing up the Roaring 20s historically. There's a big difference between bringing something up historically and bringing something up nostalgically. If you bring something up nostalgically, it means people watching are on board. If you bring something up historically, it means that you're informing somebody of something, right? So if you bring up the Roaring 20s nostalgically, you're going to lose a lot of people because they're like, I have no nostalgia attached to the Roaring 20s. It was so long ago.
Bro, the Great Gatsby was fire.
It wasn't nostalgic. By the way, that was Baz Luhrmann. The 1920s didn't look anything like that. Nothing that Baz Luhrmann has ever done has looked anything like anything that's ever happened in reality. Nothing. Oh. Did you ever see the Moulin Rouge? They might as well have been living in clouds. It's a crazy fantasy land.
I thought I didn't live in the 20s, so how would I know?
You didn't know?
I didn't know.
Great Gatsby was fire.
Yeah.
But they weren't like, oh, remember this? That's the difference.
$100 bills. Remember this?
$100 bill.
$100 bills.
$100 bill. Yeah, exactly. And they threw in a Jay-Z soundtrack. Here they threw in Sonny and Cher. You see what I'm saying?
All right. I feel
You know who sang the love song? You know who sang the love song in Great Gatsby? Lana Del Rey. That song is so good.
God.
Is that not?
You still love... I'll be singing that tonight.
Young, I know you will. I know you. It's great, but guess what?
Yeah,
it was contemporary.
Brings me back to the 20s.
The Roaring 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, that's a big difference between but when you do something and it's like, this is funny because remember this. Like even people who have like the people who would remember Sonny and Cher or the Munsters would be grandparents, not parents with little kids. Like if you're a parent and you're like, oh, I remember the Munsters from when I was a kid. Hey, son, do you want to watch this with me? Your son would be like, I'm fucking 24 years old. No, I don't want to watch that with you. I'm so old. I'm an adult. I'm actually with my children right now. Oh, all right, whatever. Then I'll just watch it myself.
I guess it's not for your demo. I'd tell my kid.
Right. Well, you wouldn't get it anyway.
Yeah.
Grandpa Munster does not like Herman, by the way. Grandpa Munster thinks Lily can do better than Herman. And there is a comedy of errors in his way. He tries to concoct better mates for Lily, but he messes up the spell. And it's like a monkey in a sailor outfit or something like that.
And hijinks ensued?
There were hijinks ensued. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I think that Rob Zombie does his movies, how you describe this method of 10 for you, 1 for me. Maybe this was the one for him. Maybe all this horror stuff isn't for Rob Zombie.
Yeah. What Rob Zombie movie? Name me the one Rob Zombie movie that was not for Rob.
Maybe we got it wrong this whole time.
He doesn't like this stuff. He's like, but that's the other. I'm like, I don't know why Rob would do a family-friendly comedy.
Because that's the one. That's for him.
That's all he's ever wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know, this is what I wanted to do. Here's the problem. Thunderkiss 65 came out. Everybody loved it. And I've been stuck doing these goddamn monster movies ever since. I think, here's what I think. I think if somebody else had written it and you got different actors, Rob would have been a good director for this movie. I think, because I like, Rob's visuals are still on point. It still looks cool. I think if you had gotten different, and by the way, I don't even, that's not shade on the actors. They just, I mean, the casting just, Grandpa was fine. It's just the age. Like the age that, like, make them college age, right?
Actors can be good and the casting could be bad.
That's what I'm talking about, hot dog. That's what I'm talking about. That's why you're my dude. You know what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. See, Kevin Lumford says a PG movie is way too far outside Rob Zombie's wheelhouse. It'll never be widely accepted. Yeah. That's what I think. Rob needs to just...
I got it right underneath the comments right now as the recommendations. The Munsters 2022. Buy or rent?
I go with rent. Yeah. You know. I love Rob. I'm glad he got to make his Munsters movie. I am glad that Rob got to make his Munsters movie. I'm not going to rewatch it. But I don't like all the... I don't like all the Rob Zombie haters. I don't like it. I don't like that people are hating on his movie either. And people go, well, if you don't want me to hate on it, tell me what's so good about it. And then I go, all right, whatever. I don't
do what you want.
Shut up. So I go like this. Shut up.
You suck.
You suck. Shut up. You don't even know what you're talking about anyway. No, that's what I think. I think if different actors have been cast for Herman and Lily, and like a person who writes family-friendly movies had written it, I think Rob Zombie would have been awesome at directing it. He's got a great eye. He's got a great eye. The whole thing looked like a Rob Zombie music video. Rob Zombie music videos usually last 4 minutes. You also could have gotten this, like, by the way, if you had done this in a tight, if you had hit me with an hour and 12 minutes, if you had hit me with a tight 72 on this, I probably would have been totally forgiving of everything. If you had gone like 72 minutes to tell this story, I'd be like, God bless you, Rob. You told your story. You did your thing. You got me in and out in a tight 72. We're good to go.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been bad.
I'm not the type of guy with 2 hours just laying around in a given day. You know?
Not for this, at least.
I got to make my choices. Give me a tight 72. That's what I always say about all this stuff. A tight 72. And boom, we're good to go. But yeah, are you going to watch it?
After all this endorsement that you just gave it right now, I'm inclined to maybe not.
He meant for it to be campy, by the way. He meant for it to be campy.
I'm sure. If the biggest Rob Zombie fan...
Rob Zombie's awesome.
All in, you know, I think I'll pass on it.
I hope his next movie is a hard R. I mean, not even like sort of an R. I mean, a hard R.
I prefer A.
Well, yeah. I get that. I get that. Yeah. Lots of blood. Lots of violence. Yeah. You know what? Let's read some of these super chats, okay? Super chats galore. If you want to contribute to the show tonight, send in a super chat, and we will get to it for sure. Every super chat on the show gets acknowledged. Let's go to Not Sam Lehman. I'm worried about the value of the NFT hot dog bought for Mary Jean. Yeah, we didn't really discuss that on the show tonight, but NFTs, the NFT trading value has cratered. cratered.
I wish I got this thing off of me a lot sooner, but you guys didn't give me permission to sell the NFT.
It was creepy.
Unauthorized, they said.
It was creepy and unauthorized. And also, I'm really glad the NFT market is crashing. Really glad. By the way, has anyone... nobody's complained about your volume or anything tonight, have they, Hot Dog?
I think I saw one comment, but usually if it's 2 or 3, then that's how I feel like.
I think it's your volume, by the way.
Yeah. Hold on. Let's see.
You got some kind of... What's that mic plugged into?
What if I do this? Is that better? Is that louder?
Yeah, it's definitely louder. What's it plugged in? What is it? Do you have it plugged into a compressor or an amp or anything?
I got a compressor. A compressor and then the amp.
It's plugged into a cloud lifter or something?
Mm-hmm. Cloud lift, the blue cloud lift, and then that is going into my red whatever the fuck thing that goes into my computer.
Whatever you just did is way better.
Okay. All right. So I'll leave it there.
There it is. There it is. Yeah. Sounds great. Grim Reaper says Hot Dog is just a floating head right now. I think because your checkerboard print matches the soundproof tiles.
All right. You guys send me some more money, I will expose myself.
Thank you to RB8620. Appreciate you. Reed Rothschild. Ron White has a great joke about these weather guys in the wind where he makes the point it's not the wind blows, it's what the wind blows.
Love Ron White.
Legend. Six Crow. I wore your new Not Sam shirt to my new doctor's office yesterday. Six Crow got one of those advanced Not Sam shirts, although I've heard they're almost completely done printing. So people that order the Sammy Brand Muffin shirts, they should be in the mail very soon. He says, the nurse asked me if there was a new bakery in town that just opened. I just responded, it's a wrestling thing, because the back says Sammy Brand Muffins.
Where'd you get that t-shirt?
Yeah, Sammy Brand Muffins. Yeah, Johnny Cupcakes hit me up. He was like, my cousin. Johnny Cupcakes, Sammy Brand Muffins.
Yeah.
Pastries. Reed Rothschild says that water is putrid and mixed with sewage. That's the hurricane water. I've seen people swimming through the water in their houses. It's disgusting.
That's hardcore.
Max Powers. Sam looks like a white Conorak synthsophone. I don't know what that is.
Agreed.
Yeah, he's probably right. Kevin Lumford. Gas went up 80 cents 5 days ago here in Michigan. Oh, thanks, Putin. You screwed us again. Thanks for nothing.
Oh, that son of a bitch.
Not Sam Miguel says Sam is a Westchester 7, but an LA 3. But I'm a Wisconsin, a Milwaukee 9. If I'm a Westchester 7, so.
Yeah, man, I gotta go somewhere where I'm like at least an 8.
Antarctica.
Where'd I go?
Antarctica.
With that, oh come on, there's penguins there.
Yeah, but there's almost no people.
Yeah, they'll be thirsty.
Thirsty as hell. Or just get with a penguin. Reed Rothschild says, he's talking about the Dahmer thing. This is what you pointed out earlier, Hot Dog. The show isn't gospel. It has an agenda, which is to point out the police failed the gay and minority communities. It's true, but not as blatant or out of the norm for the time as the show implies. Well, I don't think it implies that it's out of the norm for the time. But that doesn't mean that it's okay. I think that people don't realize how much it was happening, and that the Dahmer case is an extremely good illustration of how much it was happening. So I think but I think that's an aspect of the story that kind of should be pushed out there. You know,
without that being pushed out, I would have never known that. I would have just thought he's killing white people.
Yeah. Listen to the O&A where the detective that arrested him. Oh, he's great, by the way. I think he's been on Jim and Sam, too. That arrested and interrogated Jeff. He talks about those 2 cops and how it went finding out about Jeff. It's fascinating. Yeah. Not Sam Miguel. Wanted control of people, didn't want them to leave, and was also a huge jerk. Are you talking about Jeffrey Dahmer or Opie? That's not Sam Miguel. That's mean. Yeah. There's no reason. There's no reason.
Now, is that nice?
That's not nice. That's not nice. That's not fun, and it's not funny. Reed Rothschild, most serial killers as kids wet the bed, set fires, and kill or abuse animals. The triad to look out for. Oh, boy. Wet the bed,
Oh no.
set fires like a couch on the highway, and abuse animals.
If you're shocked.
No. He's good with animals. He's good with animals.
Okay. I'm just.
He's good with animals.
What if he leaves the cellar with people all the time?
He's good with animals. He's good with animals.
All right. Okay.
That's only 2 out of 3. It's 2 out of 3.
Watch your back, bro.
That's not a triad. That pyramid does not stand. You need 3 legs to keep a table up. 2 and it'll tip over. I'm not taking a drink from him, but I'm just. Reed Rothschild, thoughts on Opie continuing to attack you and Jim? I hope it's getting my guy some clicks, bro. I hope it's getting some clicks. We're in that click economy, dude. Get them clicks up. Get them views up, okay?
Work the people.
Well, I don't know if he's working. I think he might actually mean it. But regardless, get them clicks up, dude. Get your money. Opie's out here getting that bag. Get it.
$100 bills.
Poodle-rific. That's what he does every time he trashes us. $100 bill. Hot Dog's red and black shirt should be a required uniform. That's true, because it does match the background.
It really does.
Yeah. JD Straightshot says Kumia is getting owned by Stuttering John. That sucks, dude. I don't want to get owned by anybody, so that sucks. Reed Rothschild, or could Zombie just be a bad filmmaker? Stop being a zombie, Mark. Reed Rothschild, how dare you? No, Rob Zombie is not a bad filmmaker. His first movie is House of a Thousand Corpses. It is excellent, and it's his very first film. Boom. He also directed a lot of his music videos. Supercharger Heaven, he directed it. Thunderkiss 65, he directed it. More Human Than Human, he directed it. Those are fantastic music videos. Boom. Devil's Rejects, that is an unironically, unabashedly great movie. I don't know anybody that thinks that that's a bad movie. And if you think that's a bad movie, what I like to say is, you be tripping. That's what I say. That's my, I'm thinking about, adding it to the T-shirt collection. But
yeah, that'd be great.
You be tripping, Sam Roberts. Yeah, no. I think Devil's Rejects is great. The first Halloween remake is good. We won't talk about the sequel to that movie. We're not going to bring it up. I liked Lords of Salem. 31 was a fun, low budget, cool. It was like an amusement park ride. I don't think it was ever intended to be anything besides that. Yeah, so I could never say Rob Zombie's a bad filmmaker. There's no evidence that stands on that.
Oh, there's one.
It's 2 out of 3. It's not. It doesn't. It's. Matt Guglielmo says you got 5 stylists. You might as well use them. Not yet, Matt. Not yet. Matthew M. Just because. I appreciate you, Matthew M. Grim Reaper. You season 4 drops in February. Are you pumped? Come on, man. Come on, man. Dude, I'm super pumped. That show, You, is as good as it gets. As good as it gets. I've watched all 3 seasons. Penn Bakley. I'm going to watch season 4. I can't wait. I can't wait for season 4. Because Joe, he's in Europe now. Because he keeps killing people. So, every season, he does more murdering. But, he goes and hides somewhere, and changes his identity. At a certain point, it's like, bro, it's 2022. You can't just keep changing your identity like it's 1950. People know who you are. It's easy to find out. Not if you go overseas.
How do they write off Chris D'Elia?
He died anyway. Chris D'Elia got killed on the show anyway. He played a comedian who was a predator. I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
He played a predatory comedian. But point is, he died on the show anyway, so they don't have to worry about that.
Who are you?
Woo! Reed Rothschild, you guys brought up Jim's traits as a kid without saying it's Jim to John Douglas. And he said this kid has serious alarm bells going off. John Douglas is the investigator who, he's like, they literally, the show Mindhunter about all the the one guy who got to interview every single serial killer?
Yeah.
That's John Douglas. And he's the one who created this triad. And that's right. We did bring up the triad to him, and he said there was real cause for concern. So, yeah, we didn't mention that as we were talking about Jimbo. Yeah. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys hanging out tonight. We did a long show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. For Hot Dog, I'll say this. I will cheers with you later. Have a good one, everybody.